Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
Hello and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. I've won this top. It's from Cluck Cluck Bang. You want to try it? It's in Nottingham and it's one of the best chicken places I've ever been in my life. There's my first advertisement ever. You best be paying me. Guys, I've got one of the favouriteest people. Honestly, I think we've met about 4 times now. But you've got the nicest energy, and I say energy a lot, so people need to play bingo for this podcast. When they're at home, it's like, he said energy again. Yeah. Amazing. But your smile is electric. Aww. You're electric. You're very passionate, and you're a powerful lady. So I'm going to dive straight in with Michelle from the Movement Collective.
Hi, Mikey.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, what a lovely introduction.
You're just
Thanks so much.
I wanted to dive straight in. I didn't want to give you a massive preamble because...
I mean, you've bigged me up massively. God.
I tried to do that with guests, but with you, because I'm exploring you today, really. I want the audience to do that with me.
Right.
So the Movement Collective, because it was before Out of Michelle.
It was Out of Michelle still exists.
But you've you have given me a penny drop moment today.
Yeah.
Say it how you say it.
Out of my shell.
And now fast.
Out of Michelle.
Oh!
And you'd be surprised at the amount of people who don't get that.
So can you talk a little of how that branched and then where you branched into now?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I can't take credit for Out of Michelle because...
Oh, God's sake.
My auntie's partner made that up. And I was like, oh, great, I'm just going to steal that and use that as my branding. Perfect.
I've really respected you till now.
Oh, it's about brainstorming and sharing ideas.
No, it's all out the window.
So yeah, that was kind of born about 4 years ago, and I created an Instagram profile all about kind of the movement side of things. Actually, it started off as kind of a personal profile, really, and then I did my teacher training in yoga, and it kind of became this kind of movement dance yoga profile.
So just full movement of the body in all regards.
Yeah, I mean, one of my taglines at the top was like all things movement, because I like to get in like a bit of nature in there and all sorts of stuff like that. So yeah, and then the Movement Collective developed in lockdown.
Fantastic. Yeah. With the Out of Michelle, so that was just literally just a public profile for you. It was your Instagram page.
Yeah.
And then it turned to business then for a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
How did the business all come to be?
Wow.
Yeah. Is this a big one? Is it a booming story?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. There wasn't really like a pinnacle point where it all started, because I've been self-employed for 9 years. So I was a dance teacher before.
Wow.
And I had a year out of dance teaching, and I'd just lost my mum. And I'd been in this space where I was like, I still want to move, still want to do things, I still want to teach, but I wasn't a dancer in training anymore. So I kind of I heard that yoga was really good for you. And so I went and did a yoga class. And I think after about doing yoga for about 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, I'm going to teach this.
Really?
I'm going to teach this.
Okay. It's just
I need to do this.
Your passion straight from the off.
Yeah, I mean, it's the
movement. Why are you teaching it though? Why not just doing it? What made you go, no, I need to share it?
Well, because I don't really exercise unless I'm teaching.
Okay.
That's a bit honest.
No, I like that honesty though, because I'm very much the same with boxing.
Right.
Like, I prefer to be doing a circuit with people and putting them through their paces.
Yeah.
And then that encourages me to go on and start punching the bag.
Yeah.
If I'm just doing it for my own reason, it's very hard to motivate me to start getting on the bag.
Yeah, I'm so lazy in ways.
What does this say about us?
I don't know.
This will be a big podcast of self-discovery today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
going to be walking off here with dreadlocks and everything.
Got the one.
I can't wait.
Got the tail dread.
I love it.
Yeah, it's I find it really hard to motivate myself to do exercise, and I know I preach about how important it is, and I know how important it is to move, and so I have to teach it. I have to teach movement, and obviously the dance side of it, all that kind of creativity, that I can do no problem.
What dance were you starting in? Was it sort of contemporary or?
Yeah, I mean, I did ballet. My mum put me in a ballet class when I was really young.
Was your mum a dancer?
No, she was a runner.
Okay,
yeah.
So you had sporty side of the family. She'd always been in active and keeping movement. That's the word.
Yeah, it's an active family.
I hate it when really simple words leave my mind. I don't mind it when it's like really abstract words that I've heard 3 times.
Yeah.
But active should be there.
Yeah.
Accessible anytime needed.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, my mum put me in a ballet class when I was a tot, and I don't think I behaved very well. I didn't really like it.
Why is that? I can't imagine. You seem to me, if I was picturing you right now at school next to me on the table, like you'd be pretty much just go through with everything, like a nice girl at school.
I was well behaved. Oh my God,
What do you mean you misbehaved then? What?
I think in ballet I just didn't like classical music, and I didn't resonate with the teacher. I don't know, I was dead young. I could be making this up, I don't.
What was childhood like for you though?
Yeah, great.
Did you enjoy childhood?
Yeah.
And was it all active?
Yeah, I mean, we used to, so there was, I moved to Oakwood when I was about 3 or 4, and I have had friends on the street. I just go knock on people's door and say, "Hi, have you got a little girl there I can play with?" I mean, sounds weird coming from an adult now, but as a 5-year-old, I did that. Yeah. My mum would like take me down the street, and she says, "I've seen a little girl in that house." And
no way. Did anybody? Yeah. Did they come out? Or
yeah, I mean,
really,
this was pre-social media. Remember?
Of course. The safe days.
We're the generation of that.
The non-abductions and stuff.
I think they still happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to go play around the tree. So there's this signature place, which is the tree in Oakwood.
Is it
still there?
The tree?
The tree.
Do people know this still? Is it a big thing?
No, they don't know, because kids don't play around that tree now.
It just
we were
feels
climbing
like
up in it and doing
irony
all sorts.
of in Oakwood, and you've got the
tree. Yeah, I mean everywhere.
Where is this Hobbiton village?
It's a suburb. Everywhere in Oakwood is named after nature. But there is hardly any nature there.
When your mum took you into this dance class, can you remember that as feeling wow? Or how did you feel when you got there?
I don't think that one worked for me. I think it was in Bredsall. I'm not really sure, but it was really young, and it was, I think when I got about 8 or 9, I went to, I'm going to name drop here, Caroline Green School of Dance, which still is going now. And I went with my friend Kirsty.
Okay.
Oh, we loved it.
Is she the equivalent to Helen O'Grady's drama school sort of thing?
I've never heard of that.
Oh, okay. That's what I went to. I went to a drama school, like after school drama sessions and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always a big name something school. So I get you.
Yeah, so the second dance school that I went to, that was more like really performing arts theatre. In the sense of like jazz and musicals and stuff like that. So I remember one of the first dances that I did there was Crocodile Rock. Do you know that song?
Yeah, I've heard of Crocodile Rock. Go on. You're just like Kanye West now. You're on a podcast singing and then you're into dance and everything. Where are we going to go next?
I remember wearing like a lime green like long skirt. Actually, if Kirsty listens to this, she'll remember. She'll be reminiscing. And you had to, parents had to sew on this sequin band.
Right.
And my mum didn't sew it on right. And she didn't hear the end of it.
What happened? What was up with it?
My mum wasn't very good at sewing anyway. Right. It wasn't on the seam. It's funny now. Like, she put it above the seam.
Okay.
So you could see the seam.
Oh, I get you.
So, yeah.
Did you have a nickname from this then?
No. It was just one dance, thank God. It's just one dance, it didn't stick.
No. Well, my mum blew that out the water of embarrassing you on mine was at a sport day at school. What do you call it? It's sports day, isn't it?
Yeah, sports day, yeah.
She was in a race, and she did the parents' races.
Oh, right.
With just a top on that no bra. And as she was running, she was winning this race, and just everything came out.
Wicked.
But my mum, being my mum, just carried on. She just kept going. She was like, I'm winning this. There's no stopping me now.
But poor you.
and tells that story to this day with such pride in her eyes. She's just like, yep, I can remember when I won though.
Yeah.
Kept going.
In it, she kept going.
Yeah,
like
there's a metaphor in this, isn't there?
Yeah, there's no fucks given. No, that's the metaphor, Mikey. No fucks given.
No fuck given attitude.
I'm winning this race.
Oh, I've missed that metaphor all my life. I should have just lived like that forevermore. From that day, that race.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between yoga and dance? Because they seem quite similar to me, but you're talking to somebody from a very alien perspective,
right? So,
and I would love to get into one of the two.
Oh yeah, anytime, Mikey.
I really would, because I am the subtlety of a baby elephant.
Yeah.
And I've started to realise how bad that is for me.
Yeah.
Because all my life was boisterous movements, football, punching, doing whatever. But it's all started to like fall onto me now. And, and the mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So yoga is a lot more of a spiritual practice. So they talk about like the limbs of yoga. So you have the asana, which asana in Sanskrit is just postures. That's what it means. And you don't just have the postures, you have all different bits of yoga. So there's like meditation, there's like serving people and doing karma yoga, where you do things like volunteer. And it's kind of like, I've always seen similarities between yoga and Buddhism.
Wow.
And they don't really know what came first, but it's roughly around the same time. And so yoga is more of a way of life, really. And it's not, if I'm honest, it's not something that I necessarily focus on and do. You know, what I care about is the movement side of it. And I think that yoga is an amazing form of exercise that adds to that kind of versatile movement practice. So, you know, if you do just pump weights at the gym and you do all that stuff, but you don't stretch out or do any mobilization or different strength work that is more a lower intensity, then your body will start to be shaped as a bodybuilder and not one that is agile and flexible. And then vice versa, the body of a yogi or a yoga teacher is going to be one where they're really flexible and they can put themselves into all sorts of crazy positions, but whether they can actually lift some weights or not is a different story. And so that's kind of like yoga in that sort of sense. And dance, I mean, for me, dance is just expression of movement and creativity, and yoga's that as well, though.
As you were talking, I was like, that seems like it's falling into similar categories.
Yeah, like, so I basically, whenever I teach a class, I don't really plan a class. I see it as choreography in my head.
Okay, so that's cool.
So as I developed in the dance world, I didn't really ever want to perform. I wanted to choreograph and create pieces so they could be showcased to people. And so now when I'm teaching a yoga class, I'm like, right, I know today I want to do something to open the chest. Right, let's build a class around that. And then I'll just hit record, and then we'll just see what happens. And a lot of people at the end go, can you do that again? And I go, I don't know what I just did, to be honest. Apart from now that we record them.
So it's first based on like what you want to achieve, but you want to then take the people that have come to that class on that journey with you.
Yeah, I mean,
so a selfish to a selfless reason. Yeah,
essentially, but also in that, and it's really important that the yoga is for the people, not for me. If I've got chest openings in mind, it's usually because I've got someone in my class who's got really rounded shoulders.
Right, okay.
So I'm kind of thinking, who's coming to my class tonight, or who's likely to come to my class? Right, okay, it's this person. Oh, they could really do with maybe working this area of their body a little bit. And it won't just be about that one individual person, but it gives me this kind of inspiration. And so that's why I always want students to say, I'm aching here, or I need some strengthening here, because that's what inspires me. And then I can create a class around that. So yeah, it is about what I want to do, but it has to be about what they need.
How long are your classes?
Oh, they range now between 10 minutes and an hour.
Okay, see, I could definitely fall in with a 10-minute little workout.
Yeah, that's it. And they're so popular.
That's the thing for me, is like going into a class like that, knowing I'm going to be the runt of the litter or the bottom of the class, and then sort of having to be there for an hour seems really too much to handle for somebody like me.
Yeah, and so all of our classes are online as well at the moment.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so people basically can just join in whenever they want.
Okay.
And yeah,
do you do a YouTube channel or anything as well, or
it's a development.
Is it? I would more than be happy to help you with that. I enjoy helping them sort of things.
Yeah. I can pick your brain about it.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, to what I do know, but I love the platform of YouTube. It's just so, because first you're going into them YouTube yoga classes, and then suddenly you're down a rabbit hole after that.
Those rabbit holes. So many vloggers.
It's a great platform.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I do love it. And we do upload to YouTube. We just done, what do you call it? Like unlist it.
Yeah.
So all of our content is on there, and it's just unlisted. So it's just for the people who
link,
pay.
They'd be able to go on and get there.
Hopefully they won't find the link unless they pay for it.
Show me the money.
Give me that money.
So, how much of it are you more interested by, either aspect of it? Like, do you like the mind more side of things, like the meditation and that, or is it all just literally under the same umbrella?
Well, yeah, for me, it's a movement meditation, all of it. Like, if I'm in the zone, I'm just in it. And yeah, it's just like a dance. If you come to a yoga class, to me, I'm teaching you a dance. But I know it's not that, but it feels like that for me.
Do you think your past has really helped you get a different spin on how people do yoga then? And what makes you unique in your classes is because you've got 9 years experience of dance, and therefore you're injecting that into your teachings.
Yeah.
Has that sort of separated you aside?
I hope so. I hope that people feel like they've got more in tune with their body. But I think yoga does that anyway, because you're focused on the breath, so it's movement with breath, which isn't so much with dance, unless you talk about I'm gonna talk about something you might not even know about here.
Please do, because I watched them back to learn.
So it's called release technique in dance, and it's all about kind of opening the chest up to the ceiling and kind of being heavy and dropping to the floor, and then coming back up and dropping back down to the floor again. And so you have to use that kind of that inhale to come up and that exhale to like kind of release yourself down to the floor. And that's where I started learning about the breath, is through dance with release technique.
Now, did you navigate to this because you couldn't control your mind, or you're an active and overthinker? Were you struggling in life at this point? Because you said when you got there, you were like, this is what I need. This is what I want to be doing and helping others do.
Yeah.
So what made you go, wow?
What, like from dance to yoga, or?
Yeah, when you got into it, like, was it an epiphany moment, and it was like, this has just helped me in a moment stop thinking for the first time in however long, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you get that from it?
I don't know whether there was a specific moment that it happened, because I think at that time in my life, I wasn't really conscious in what I was doing anyway, because I was going through a lot of stuff. And so I don't know whether there was that, that point where I like stopped and the God rays came out, and I was like, but yeah, no, it's definitely going to sound like a right hippie here. It's definitely the journey that counts with it. I've really, really, really enjoyed kind of where I've gone from dance, because it was really hard for me to let go of kind of being a dance teacher or a dancer. And so there was kind of this process of letting that go and then going, but I was just and then I just was a nanny for a year. I was a housekeeper and a nanny, because I was like, I need to just like get a job and do something and kind of
completely shift the identity.
Yeah, like just have some time and kind of think about what I want to do and how can I get movement back into my life. And it was that I just started going to it.
So you'd fully committed as an ego, like your ego said, I am dance teacher, and it was hard to break from. I've had that as even poetry.
Right.
Like you put it out there, especially with social media. media being so right.
Yeah.
When you've told the world that, you feel you have to wear that badge every day and let people know.
Yeah.
And probably part of my problem was the fact I did tell everybody that who I met is like, my name is Michael, I'm a poet. But then you live by that ego, and then the moment you don't want to be a poet or you don't want to be a dance teacher, it's really hard to let go at that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should be able to be fluid with it. And
absolutely. But I don't know whether social media creates those barriers for yourself as well, because you kind of brand yourself in your social media. And then if you just start totally being random in what you do, then your audience then gets like, well, she's this today and she's that tomorrow. She doesn't know who she is.
People like structure, I suppose, then.
Yeah.
They like to know where they stand with you and what you're about.
Yeah. I mean, I like structure as well.
I think it's good.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's good to be fluid, definitely.
Not too attached by it. Balanced with it.
I was waiting for that word to be dropped.
There we go. The bingo has begun again.
The bingo balance.
I bet somebody out there's got a whole line now.
Yeah.
Amazing. So with the collective, what do these do? Who's in it? What do you do? Where are you going?
Oh.
Woo!
So, the Movement Collective was born from lockdown. I wasn't bored in lockdown. I was still working, but I was just,
doing the online classes.
Yeah, but a lot of the work stopped, obviously. And a lot of the studios basically had to lower the wage as well. So it was really challenging. And I don't know, I just felt like I was really loving online. And I didn't think that I would ever go down that route. I
was going to say, because the classes, especially a yoga class, seems so connected and so much about being in the moment together.
Yeah.
That can you get that within an online class then? Do you feel connected?
I mean, I feel like in some aspects it's better because people can focus more on their own practice.
Yeah, I get
when
you.
people are in a room together, you often see people looking at the next
comparing.
Yeah, and they're comparing with each other. And or you get studios with mirrors.
Yeah.
Oh, get rid of those mirrors.
It makes sense.
Yeah, because they're just looking at their body and how it looks.
That's supposed to be the idea you were talking about earlier, like when you're trying to stop yourself from thinking and then you're overthinking that thought.
Yeah.
It's like when you're trying to really do the movement and you're over analysing in front of you how to do that movement rather than feeling it and doing it.
And it is good for your
I should be a teacher.
You should be a teacher, absolutely.
I'm gonna
you
do
are a
yoga.
teacher, Mikey, in many ways.
Thank you. Just to myself every day. That's an idea, I'll keep that for later.
Where were we going with this? What did you ask me?
When you're doing online classes, how you connect with that, and you said it's more so like you can connect more even.
Well, so they still see me and I still see them. So that's a really important part of it. And the class is still live, but we're recording it. So there are moments where I go up to the camera and I go, oh, so and so, you're not quite doing that right. Let's just open here and do this here and do some corrections. It's really funny looking back on the recordings because you've got my concentration face going right up.
Like a fisheye lens.
Yeah. But I think it's just so important to. The priority is the live classes to keep people that have that connection and stuff. And then, the recordings are just there if people want to do it after. But I don't know, the response from it is that they're really enjoying it. And obviously a lot of people are still feeling nervous about being in, a sweaty room with loads of other people because of the C word. I don't want to talk about it, but
I get you.
Yeah, but so it's
what does it rhyme with? Trombona. So you're doing your online classes. You're not bored because you're doing those.
I'm not bored,
but then you've decided, you know what, this collective's going to start up. Were you in talks with people?
So what happened was I was kind of trying to brainstorm this idea where I was just like, I'm not enough for my students in the sense of they need more versatile movement because if they only come to me and they only do my classes, then they might start to get ailments because I know that a lot of the people who do yoga only do yoga. So I was like, I want to create a space where there is not just yoga in this platform. And so my signature class is called Not Just Yoga. And then we've got our Marie is our kind of Hatha traditional yoga teacher, and she does like some beautiful guided meditations.
Right.
And she's got the best French accent as well.
Oh,
so soothing. And so
take me away.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so we've got her, and then there's Nicole, our dynamic Pilates teacher, and she's wicked. She's fiery. She makes you work hard.
Okay.
So you've kind of got that aspect. I teach more. I think my classes have been described as gentle but strong. So I'm a really slow teacher. Give people the time to get into positions, but there's a lot of sneaky strength stuff in there, which I love, because I love seeing their faces just go, oh, wasn't expecting this.
This sounds great, because you actually are showing that you really care about the people you're teaching, because you didn't want to just go, I want all them to come to me, give me your money, do me, become me. You're like, no, I've noticed I've got a certain way of teaching and a certain way of how I like to conduct myself, but I've seen these other people, and maybe we'd bring it all together and people will get the best out of that, which sounds a real good thing for everyone involved.
And it's so important. Like, there's a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of competition in a lot of different industries, and it doesn't sit right with me. I've been in dance industry for ages, and it's so bitchy. I'm just
is it
like,
quite egoic?
So is the yoga industry. It's much worse. God. I didn't realise.
The strangest thing for me is when people grow egos out of losing ego or not having ego. Like
now
this woke person.
Now I'm awake. I'm enlightened. You're probably not, if you're saying that.
A lot of virtue signaling is the key word nowadays, isn't it?
And there's a lot of things, and there's a lot of buzzwords that go around on social media to kind of drag people into that kind of idea.
Did you notice, because it happens in any clique, there's an ugliness and there's a beauty, and had you been pretty to that? Because I suppose when you go into something as what's supposed to be as pure as helping people's mental health, getting them to move their body, flexible, but then when you see the ugly sides, you must be a bit like, oh, I didn't think it would come here though. I didn't think it'd be a part of that.
And just I'm not cool with it. Cool. It doesn't sit right with me at all.
What would people look out for to notice that though? How do you know when you're getting what I trust you and believe would be a good teacher and somebody who has a pure heart with it? How do you know when you're going down the route of somebody that's selling you a pyramid scheme or something?
Right. So interesting things are that if you're going to a teacher who always has the answers to everything, they're probably not a good teacher.
Like a cult.
And
usually it's a man, and usually the answer is in his penis. It's just true. I've watched a lot of documentaries in my time. Somebody claims to know a little bit more, and everyone has to sleep with him for some reason. It's ridiculous. I watched one the other day called Holy Hell. Have you seen it?
No, is that on Netflix?
Oh man, I think the only way I can think you'd find it now is YouTube.
Right.
Still has some gems in YouTube. It was one of them that I'll just turn me back on this. If you ever watch this podcast and you hear a little ding, you now know what it is.
Right.
So that's only got a certain life to it.
You need a new camera there, Mike.
One of them babies. But this podcast, not podcast, it was a documentary. But honestly, for 45 minutes, you're like, this is actually really cool, really interesting. And then the last half an hour, you're like, oh my God, and it just flipped its head. I thought this guy was really cool. I loved him, and I didn't know where they were going with this documentary, because all cult documentaries are very obvious. You're watching them and you're like, I know where this is going. He's going to do this, and then... But here, I was like, he's mint. And then, oh no, don't do that.
Just don't be a sheep. Like, if basically a lot of people now, like, obviously are really big on following like gurus or people that are...
Is it predominantly men than women?
A lot of men in the industry. And so when I first started my training, I was training in Ashtanga, and Pattabhi Jois was kind of the kind of guy, the guru, you would say. and he's dead now, but there's loads of accusations now coming out about him with, you know, sexual harassment and all sorts of stuff, and loads of people follow him. Loads of people follow him, and for me, I've always thought it's a bit bullshit. Like I don't really I've never really idolized people in that sort of sense. Like, my dad's always said this famous thing, you know, if someone told you to jump off a cliff, would you? And it's like, well, if Tabby Joyce told you to jump off a cliff, you probably would if you've been following all of his stuff, because they really do suck you in.
Yeah, you can see where the mentalities and attitudes come from with people. It's lost people, isn't it, really?
It's just lost people. And it's dangerous. It's really dangerous. And it's like, so it's just always coming back and checking yourself. Like, for example, so whenever I went to... one of the scenarios, it was me and Hamish. So my partner's Hamish, in case you don't know about that.
Great guy. Shout out, hey up, buddy. Love you.
Lovely guy.
He's amazing.
Yeah. And we went to an ashram in India, and they do like lots of cleansing things. And one of the cleansing things is like you have to drink loads of salt water.
Oh, God.
And Hamish actually wasn't in the ashram at the time. He came a couple of days later. Anyway, I was like, I'm not doing that. And there's no pressure to do it, you know, none of that. And everyone was like, why don't you just do it? And I was like, no, like, I need to know the benefits of what it's actually going to do, because I've always been taught never to drink salt water.
Really?
Well, yeah.
I've had
a pint of salt water.
Not a pint then, yeah. Maybe when I've had abscesses and I've...
Yeah, swish it around your mouth, because it's
and spit it back out.
Yeah, don't swallow it. And anyway, so I asked one of my friends in the ashram after she did it. She was like, "Oh no, it wasn't that bad." I was like, "Yeah, but how do you feel now? Do you feel any different to prior?" And she was like, "Oh no, I don't actually feel any different."
Yeah.
And I was like,
"I didn't need to do it then."
Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't do it. That's just confirmed that for me. Like, I'm glad that I didn't do it, because I think the thing is, like, I'm into kind of. I like the idea of all the cleansing stuff. I like the idea of detoxing and stuff like that, but there's not enough science behind it for me to just go, yeah, I'll do it. I'll give it a go and see if it makes me feel any better, because there's a lot of things that won't make you feel better doing that. And the idea of drinking salt water, I think I was just completely switched off to the idea.
I like that attitude, though, of somebody who is still willing to question everything, and whatever platform it's coming from and whoever's speaking it, you're there going, hang on, where's this come from, though? Who said it?
But I was so surprised that nobody else was just like, why are we drinking a pint of salt water? Or like,
that's the pack mentality, though, isn't it?
Like, threading this like piece of elastic down. I don't know what it is. Piece of elastic down your nose, and then you catch it.
I wonder if they at all like just did things to see if
and
people
then
would.
Just like,
oh mate, that makes me feel sick.
But you see people on videos like heaving, trying to get this thing out the back
the
of
other thing
throat.
that I get annoyed at is when people won't play a part, or they're like, no, that doesn't suit me or my soul or what I'm about. They get like vilified for it. It's like, no, you should be taking part. You should be in this.
And what I have to say is that ashram weren't like that. They were so accommodating, and I went and watched them do it. Basically, I went and just watched loads of people be sick.
Yeah. For God's sake. We're cleansing.
Yeah, we're cleansing.
No, your body's trying to get rid of something it doesn't like. It's rejecting it.
But that's the point of it, right? So they say that once you drink the salt water, you're kind of purging and cleansing all of that out of your body, like spiritually as well. And I do believe that in some aspects, but
I will respect all cultures and everything they're about, but again, I think it's so important to go, cool, not for me. Is it in India they worship the cow?
They
or certain parts.
I've seen many Indians hit cows as well.
Okay,
that's
not true.
But
love.
then they're also frowned upon by
But there's a place. It was on a Carl Pilkington thing, but it was still really well put together documentary. And they went there and they were eating the excrement, they were drinking the urine, they were putting it on their head, and it's like. Is it Japan that believe if you cut a vulture's head off and put it under your pillow, you can see into the future? And in China, you know, the rhino with the horn.
Right.
There's lots of mythologies, lots of ideas, lots of
poor animals
beliefs.
just getting killed for these beliefs.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, right, listen, I respect cultures, I understand, but we do have to start questioning things. We do have to start going,
Tradition is like, sometimes tradition has to be broken down, because a lot of people say, yeah, but it's traditional. Yeah, but traditions don't necessarily work now. And just because you've cut off a vulture's head for so many years, I don't think it's good for
somebody
you.
said this the other day, and they just went, tradition is basically another word for something old. It's like,
I like that.
Let's change old things. Let's start with newisms and new ideas and new thoughts. Because I think that's the only way we're going to actually get out of this rut we seem to be in.
Yeah, absolutely.
My thought for when we're just talking of cults and people in the yoga industry who could be a pyramid scheme or could be doing it for the false reasons, is like, the reason I feel it's so ripe in men is like evolutionary speaking. Like, men used to predominantly be basing attracting females on like getting stronger and bigger and muscles and being the hunter-gatherer.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the shift came from. Maybe it was the 60s movement, whatever movement it was. But then it started being able to like consciously talk woke and speak to people on this vibe and be the... use their minds. And I've seen that. I, to be honest, the reason I can speak honestly on it is because I've been a part of that. Like when I was in my growing stage and learning stage, when I was listening to Buddhism, but all isms, and then a bit of Russell Brand, of course.
Oh, God, love him.
A bit of everything.
Yeah.
I was like, all this information, and then people would like go, I've never thought like that before.
Yeah.
But it started to feel more egoic and again like fuel that fire of like, people are listening. I don't have to look good anymore, I just have to say good. So that's where I've noticed it in things as what we said earlier, pure as like yoga, meditation, these industries.
And I think that kind of idea as well makes me be really careful about what I do, like what buzzwords I kind of say on social media. Because, like, for example, community is something that kind of gets thrown around a lot as a word. But whether actually these yoga studios or places are actually creating a community is something different. Obviously, there will be people who go there and feel part of something. But I don't know whether they're reaching a community that is all-inclusive, because yoga, now that we've taken it into the West, it is very much it's very much become like a white middle-class women's sport. And actually someone said, is yoga a sport, the other day? I was like, I just keep saying that, but it's probably not.
I'd like to see it in the Olympics.
I do think they have competitions though in India. They have yoga competitions.
Is it literally like how many times you can bend your leg around your head?
Or like how long can you stay in this posture for?
Cool.
Or the ashram that we were at, they had yoga competitions. Not while we were there, but I was like, God, I didn't know that. Sounds great.
Somebody at every point of when we start anything up and then we get into the yoga, it's like, we could compete in this. I'm going to be the best. It's like, no, hang on, it was great as it was. Stop pushing it further. Even saunas. Like sauna who can last the longest?
That's dangerous.
I know. It happens though, doesn't it?
Sorry.
It's all right. It's still on.
I feel like I'm not the only person that's ever done that.
No. Kicking the place to bits. So, do you love this field then? You're happy you're a part of that? Because we've literally had it in this field, haven't we?
I did some yoga here. I loved doing that.
And that's what I'm talking about, and you were talking about, was when people say jargon words or buzzwords like community, but then when it means something, that was me watching a community of people together. And
and that's one of the things that I'm trying to create with the Movement Collective is like an environment that is really inclusive. And I've got so much to learn from that as well. Like, I've been brought up in in kind of a household that's not had to struggle for money, and I've had a really good education. I've been fortunate enough to go to university, although I did drop out.
Oh, my life.
Actually, I went to university twice and I dropped out twice. That's another story.
That sounds a good story.
But I've had so many opportunities, and I think that I come from a place of ignorance as well into like how other people's lives are and how they've lived. So I've kind of, and I think this actually came from the Black Lives Matter movement as well. It's made me kind of sit and just go, okay, there will be things that I will have done that will be racist and that I've not actually consciously acknowledged. So now it's not just about racism. It's just about including people and trying to get yoga and movement in general out to people, because it shouldn't just be a privilege. Everyone should have a human right to move and learn how to move well. And so that's one of the drives of the platform. And so we basically have like 3 different payment tiers. We've got, the cheapest one and the highest payment.
Okay.
But all the tiers offer everything. It's not you pay more and get more.
I get you.
You pay what you can afford.
That's amazing.
And then you just get everything. And so I've had a few people tell me that that's really not a good business plan.
Really?
Which I don't think it is.
I'm quite into that.
But it just didn't sit right with me in any other way. I was just like, look, if I'm actually going to get yoga out to people who can't afford it or they don't have the time or whatever, I'm going to be having to get a price that's like good for people. And I also want people to be able to go, that price is still too much for me. Can I come on a lower membership? Like, yeah, absolutely.
Is this because it feels more than a job to you?
It's way more than a job. Like, I don't earn shit in this field. And any yoga teacher will probably tell you that, unless they're doing retreats all the time and they're employed. Because a lot of yoga teachers who work in studios, they're not employed, they're self-employed. So you go to that one class a week there where that teacher's teaching once, they get 25 quid for that class. Yeah, it seems like a lot for an hour. But they're traveling, they're probably planning their class, and they've only got that 1 hour. And so you have to see, and there's loads of yoga teachers now as well.
Have you done a job that you absolutely hated before though? Have you been into a 9 to 5 or anything?
No, not 9 to 5, but I was in retail for years.
Were you?
Yeah, but I secretly loved retail as well. Yeah, I love selling people clothes. I don't know what it was about me, Mikey, but I loved it.
When you got into, because is yoga like basically your full time now? Is that what you're pushing towards?
Yeah, well, I work at Plant as well in Derby, Plant Cafe.
Hey,
wicked place. Yeah, shout out Plant Derby. Dave's amazing, who owns that place.
Fantastic. What's that?
So it's a vegan cafe.
Okay.
Vegan cafe and restaurant, and also kind of bar as well. It's the old Bodega. Is it Bodega? No. What was it called? Brooklyn Social. The old Brooklyn Social. They took over that. Wicked place.
Where is it? Because I've just
down Sadlergate.
Sadlergate.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I want sponsorings more.
Yeah. Dave, are you listening?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started that recently, and that came from needing money from out of lockdown. Me and Hamish just bought a boat, so we needed.
Oh my god!
Boat life.
Hang on, how long are we? And we've not even got into boats.
Yeah. We'll put that aside for now. But yeah, I needed some money, but also some company. Working for yourself, you're all alone. And I see, because I work at my dad's house, my family home. That's where I work.
Oh, beautiful.
Because I got the studio out the back and got my little. I've just taken over my dad's house, bless him. And
I'm sure he's not complaining.
No, he absolutely loves it. And yeah, so, but all I see is have those kind of business conversations with my dad, or have those business conversations with Hamish, or just to talk to somebody else and have that kind of social aspect of work. So yeah, I work there a few days a week now, and I absolutely love it. I love interacting with customers. We're just people, aren't they?
Yeah,
Don't see them as customers really, but yeah, they're just people, and get chatting. And
do you have all ranges of people? Do you have any Mikeys come to?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you?
Yeah. Dave attracts he's got such a good vibe with the place that he attracts so many lovely people there. Really interesting people as well.
Do you put on events and things, or will you be doing?
They don't yet, but why are you thinking poetry?
Yeah, I've just got
they've got two
neurons are firing.
Yeah, they've got 2 upstairs rooms that are really nice, and they could be there for events. Me and Dave spoke about doing some yoga there.
Because the reason I asked about if you've had a job you've deplored and hated, it was because I was just going to ask you that moment of when you started doing yoga full time. Was that a beautiful moment for you? Was that a moment where you're like, I got out of the mud?
Yeah. Oh, that was scary though, you know.
Really? Yeah. Yes. How is life in the self-employment world at the minute?
Oh, well, I mean, it's always up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Me and Hamish are really good with money. We don't spend much. We live a very simple life. You know,
you manage to travel as well.
Yeah. So
did you do that?
Yeah.
Very simplistic.
Yeah, because we camp.
Yeah.
We don't pay. We wild camp.
I love people like you.
Yeah, so we can afford to go on holiday because all we pay for is food.
Yeah.
And then we can, obviously, you know, we put down a few pints and we'll have a pub meal and stuff like that. But just we can afford it because we don't.
Where did you go? Where were you when you went travelling together? Was it?
Oh, that was last year. You on about the big walk?
Did you? Yeah, you did a big walk. Were you in Europe?
Oh no, so that was prior. So that we were living in Spain for a year.
Oh, there you go.
I was earning more money in Spain than I've ever earned before. That was fantastic.
Doing yoga?
No, I was teaching English.
Oh, okay.
Teaching English as a foreign language to adults.
You've done so much with your life. You've been all over the shop.
I think that means that I'm not settled.
Yeah. You take it as you will. Well, I suppose you just got to try everything out.
My mum always said to me, God, you change your mind all the time. And I'm like, I know, but I've done loads, haven't I?
I think that's the way the world's shaping though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it was a belief where you go on, you get this job, you live in this way, you get this pension, you die.
Yeah.
And now it is like
Sounds
just spinning,
so
trying out this, running over here, failing, starting again, building. And it's this new knowledge of unlearning and relearning all the time.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, unlearning and relearning, absolutely. And I just love it. I get bored if you're doing this. The only thing I haven't been bored with is movement.
Yeah,
and I think it's just because there's so much changing. There's so much change happening in the industry all the time. There's new research coming out with anatomy and stuff, so I've got so much stuff stimulating me. And obviously the Movement Collective now is like, I've got my project. Got my project, and like that's my focus.
I like you always have to have like a little pun with you. Like you had the Out of Michelle and the Movement Collective. Even that just dropped. I was like, it's all movement. It makes sense because I was thinking before like you making a movement, but wow, entendres falling out your ears. So like, do you know a lot of the science? I know this is going everywhere. I was going travelling here, but
we're going
when
everywhere.
You mention science, are you into the science of it all as well? Like, do you know quite a lot about the anatomy and the body?
Yeah, I try my hardest, and I think, and I put it out there as well on social media because it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I think it's so important. I find it hard.
Why?
It's so hard to learn.
Like to somebody that doesn't know, why is movement so important? Like, is it releasing endorphins? Is it releasing dopamine?
Yeah, all of that.
What's happening at the moment of movement, and why should I be doing more of it?
Well, okay, let's put it this way simply. Your body is shaped to the movement that you expose it to or do. So if you don't move, your body is shaped to not moving, and it becomes really, really good at that. So a common thing is that loads of people have tight hamstrings or they have lower back issues.
Just name two at the minute that I'm really struggling with.
Well, tight hamstrings is usually actually a sign of weakness in the hamstrings, and tight anything is usually a sign of weakness because we sit down a lot. And when we sit down, we kind of, all the muscles just go blah. They go really lazy and they're not active because chairs are amazing. They make you feel relaxed. So movement is, in that side of it, so important because when you get older and you're not able to move as well, if you've had a life where you've been training your body constantly, but in ways that are really healthy and versatile, when you get older, you know, you'll be fine. You'll be walking around and you'll still be bending down, picking up things. If you fall over, your body will be used to kind of impact and load. Whereas if you don't do any of that and you sit on your arse all the time, if you fall over or you lose your balance, which you are more likely to do, then you're gonna maybe, I don't know, break your hip or land funny.
So could somebody that's, say, in a 9-to-5 office job or sat down all day
come to the movement?
Get to the movement. Could they be doing that while they're at work as well? Are there lots of exercises you can do sat down?
Yeah, there are. But I mean, I would always say if you've sat down for an hour, get up every hour and walk around for 5 minutes. Or do kind of the opposite movement. So like when you sit down, you've got flexion in your hips, so that's kind of the closing angle of the joint. And so when
A-level sports science, you know.
Oh, you know. Yeah, so then when you stand up, maybe you could actually just like stretch and extend the hip instead. But yeah, a lot of people now have got those stand-up desks.
Yeah.
Bouncy balls. Get a bouncy ball.
We've got one for Chrissy at the minute with pregnancy.
Yeah, they're great. I recommend.
Been having a little go now and then.
Yeah, do you love it?
It's good fun. Yeah,
it's great. So
you can imagine me on it. Like, I'm loving life right now.
Yeah,
I'm bouncing my day away.
I had a teacher at university, and he was actually a Buddhist as well, but he had this huge bouncy ball. He used to just sit cross-legged on it. I was like, how are you balancing that? It was amazing.
Now, one thing I've heard of is Kundalini yoga.
Oh yeah, I've never tried it.
I've heard about it on lots of podcasts.
Yeah,
and the thing that really fascinates me in this is the psychedelic experience that a lot of people have had during it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because I used to be a bit of one for naughty boy times and
those psychedelic drugs,
and trying out things and learning things on the way.
Yeah,
but the fact that you can self-induce this without going on those discoveries and potentially getting the knock-on effects from that really fascinates me.
And yeah, I've been, it's funny you mentioned Kundalini yoga, because I've been seeking that out for a while, and just before lockdown I found a teacher, and obviously we just went into lockdown so we couldn't do it. But I wanted to try Kundalini yoga because I feel like it's nothing like I teach.
Right.
And
that's what I like about you. You're always like trying to learn the next thing and take different pieces away that suit you.
But it also is important for me to kind of get back that home practice. And so finding a different style that I don't teach, then that would be good for me, because then I'll do it and I won't feel the need to teach it. And so I can really connect with that.
But have you had any psychedelic-y experiences in your meditation and your practices while doing what you're doing?
Yeah, loads.
Have you?
Well, actually, the one that stands out the most was actually in dance, and that was at university. And this is what resonates with me about Kundalini yoga. There's a lot of similarities with this experience that I had. We had an external teacher come in, and he was talking about, you might have heard of it actually, ecstatic dance.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it, I think. Is it like when they're just going crazy?
Crazy, yeah, but you build up to that, right?
Right.
And I don't know whether it was actually an ecstatic dance class that we did, or whether it was just kind of this build up. And what you did was you just stayed still, standing, and then closed your eyes, and everyone in the room did the same thing. And then I can't remember if he put on music or something, because it did get a bit trippy. And he just gave you instructions, and he was building it up, and his voice was amazing. It was like a kind of Terence McKenna style.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was
not quite putting you to sleep then, but
not quite, but in a level
engaged.
Yeah. And he kind of created this level of trance, and you just got your eyes closed, and you start he's just doing this gentle movement, so feeling waves in the body or something like that.
Okay.
And then you started to move around. But when you moved around, you had to keep your eyes closed and just sense other people around you and try and miss them. And you did. You didn't touch each other. You just kind of missed each other. And then what started happening for me was I started getting visions, just like shapes and colours. And I kind of got a little bit freaked out. So I opened my eyes, and it was just that. It was out.
Oh, right.
But I was like, I'd never had any...
Do you wonder what would have happened if you'd have gone down the...
I reckon I would have had this. So he came in to try and create a level of pure ecstasy. That's what he said.
Wow.
And I think it did work for a lot of people, and everyone has to be kind of really into it and believe in it. And I mean, that dance community anyway was just I'll give anything a go.
Yeah, I love people like that.
Yeah, it was great. But I I don't know, something in me made me open my eyes, and I'm not really sure why, but I do believe that you can get to that level through movement. Definitely.
I did a similar thing like maybe 4 years ago, and I just saw a workshop on. I was like, I'd give that a go, and it was like a drama workshop, but he took us in this room, turned all the lights off.
But then, sounds a little weird.
And then there was like 12 strangers, but we had, and honestly, time was non-existent because we were in there for about 2 hours, but like we had to move around each other. But there was this part of the side of myself, because I'm from Ripley and lads but I was really like, I felt very silly while doing it, and it took me a long time to actually let my inhibitions, let myself go. That was, but the moment I did, it was really beautiful. I remember that moment vividly. It was like, this is just beautiful. I felt movement. I actually understood it for the first time.
And it's so, I don't know whether you felt like this sort of, you embody it, and it's almost like you're not conscious of the movement that you're doing. You're just moving and you're flowing with it, and you just go in with whatever feels good, and you take away this aspect of kind of sight and what it looks like. And it's just, gosh, I want to do it now. Get an ecstatic dance on the old bus.
Starting off here.
But it's like this urge.
Man.
I don't know whether people experience it, but I literally get this like really strong urge. Like if a song comes on that I love, like, I've got to dance. I've got to dance.
Is Kundalini often associated with sex? Is that like...
So I'm not an expert on this.
I don't know much about it, but I thought that was...
So it's all... So Kundalini Yoga, I believe someone might comment on this and say...
energies?
So it's to do with your chakra system, and the root chakra in particular. And the root chakra is your Kundalini energy, I think. And you're trying to awaken your energy through all these different movements and breathing exercises. Have you seen the Russell Brand Kundalini Yoga classes that he does on YouTube?
No.
It's wicked.
Do I need to?
Yeah. I mean, if you're into Russell Brand...
I love... do you know what? It really came from 5 years ago, 6, where he was really into the no voting. I always... From school, I was really naughty. I got asked to leave both my primary, then went to a different primary, managed to get to secondary. Secondary didn't go well.
I can't imagine you being naughty.
I was always, I'm never nasty, but really cheeky. I'm the sort that has to be moving. If they try to sedate me, put me down, sit me in front of something, tell me this is what you should think, remember this info. That's how school's based. And some people...
There you go, it's gone off again.
Some people really vibe well with that. Like my sister, that was how she worked. For me, I had to be up, and that's what school should be. We should try and work out what everyone's about and work for them. So it didn't work for me. Anyway, got told to leave eventually. And I remember I was working on the farm. I worked in Thorntons. I did loads of shitty jobs that you can imagine. But I always thought differently. I always had this thought like, this can't be it. There's got to be more. And it was a Russell Brand. It was on Paxman. But when he was talking the way he was talking, so passionate, he's like, this is all bullshit. Everything we've been sold's a lie. It hit me here. It wasn't just like my ego talking or anything like that. It was like, there's something he's saying here. I felt... He might not know what he's on about. I didn't know what I was on about at the time.
No.
But there's something right that he's about, because the system didn't seem right.
No.
I was looking around my job and everyone was just packing boxes passively, not questioning anything. And I was like, this is shit. This is not what the world's supposed to be.
And I think Russell Brand at that time really resonated with a lot of people. I mean, I remember that. You reckon it was 5 years ago?
I think longer. I
maybe
think much longer, because I've been with Chrissy like 3 years, and then I'm going for 7. Let's go 7.
7.
But then
lucky number 7.
He started up the Trews. Did you watch the Trews?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Russell Brand.
So I went down that path. And it was just every week like saying something I felt strongly, and I didn't know where from. I even went to so then later on in the line, I went to South Africa, lived there for a year, went away.
Cool.
When I came back, I'd got into poetry through losing a friend.
Right.
But he was still doing the Trews, and he did this show. And I remember I was sat at this table in London, Shoreditch, writing a poem. And I just hear like, what are you doing, mate? And I turn around and he's there.
There's Russell Brand.
Yeah, because it was at his Trews. He did like these secret shows. Whatever, like secret Trews shows.
You lucky bugger.
I know, I got a ticket. So, but then, this is better. He goes, oh, mate, do you want to do a poem? And I was like, oh. So that was one of my first shows.
God.
Legitimately.
That's amazing.
But
how did you feel about that?
That was big. It was very...
I'd be shitting myself.
I did. Yeah, it was... That really was something to me. But again, I felt at the time I'd used my ego to just fuel myself with information and regurgitate it.
Yeah.
But then down the line now, I've tried to actually live it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I tried to become Russell Brand rather than be my own version of me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think his stuff's so interesting.
That's who got me really into it.
Yeah.
But I've not continued with his journey since.
Yeah,
so
it's really interesting.
Yoga.
Yeah, it's really... I'm not seeing loads of his stuff, but it's really interesting how it's all developed because I think he obviously went through a time where he was just like... I told loads of people to vote and not to vote, and I probably really shouldn't have done that.
It's just so honest. Like everything he says is always like, listen, like I don't know what I'm on about. I
don't know what I'm on about. I'm just another human like the rest of you.
I'm really trying to work this all out for myself. Yeah. And I'm saying it out there. It's not my fault I've got such a big platform, but I'm trying, and you really feel that from him.
Yeah, I think
people love to just be the hearsay of like, oh, he's a knobhead, he's done this, he's done that, like link him with his past. Should we do that with everyone then?
Yeah.
Nobody's made a mistake.
I think the thing is as well, like people's opinions always change, and I don't know. I remember when I was younger and people were like, you can't change your opinion. Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I was not growing then, am I? You know, because some things that I thought I agreed with, 2 months ago, I probably don't agree with now or whatever. It's always changing.
I wrote a lyric the other day.
Go on.
It said, opinions are faulty because if you don't budge, you judge.
There you go. Yeah.
I've said that like 4 times on here.
Have you?
No, I really liked it when I said it because I remember being so regimented and fixated on my opinions.
Yeah.
And that was fact.
Yeah.
And I can't believe how down the path I went with people.
Yeah.
And as soon as they thought other, I was just like, oh, he's just I labelled them. Oh, he's just a right-wing idiot. Or, oh, he's just been part of this. He doesn't get it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm literally doing to them what they're doing to me. What am I doing?
Yeah. You literally, whatever you put out, I think is just a mirror of what...
We just want to be right.
We love being right. Yeah. I love being right.
It's in the house, place to be,
in the household, though, Mikey, I'm always right.
Yeah. In the boat hold.
In the boat hold.
What's the boat hold like? Just give me a briefing.
God, like, it's so lovely.
Let's do a guided tour.
Guided tour. Right, okay.
So we're walking down the
pontoon.
Is it a pontoon?
It's a pontoon. I live on the bloody river. I don't live on the canal.
So cool.
I live on the River Trent.
I really like this. So we're walking down the pontoon. You and Hamish and Chrissy.
Yeah.
She'll come along. I'm sure. And little Ella.
Yeah. Oh.
And then we go right. And the boat's there.
Yeah, you're right. It is on the right.
I thought it might be.
Yeah.
Now, what happens next?
So you step off the pontoon and onto the boat.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of movement happening there. And you go through these teeny tiny doors.
How teeny tiny?
They're pretty small.
How much of a duck? I'm 5'7" and a bit.
Right, so you're probably the same height as Hamish, roughly. Yeah. A bit of you have to half a forward fold in yoga.
I thought you were going to say crawl.
No, half a forward fold. If you've got a big backpack on your back, you've got to really crouch to get yourself in. And you enter Toots. Tooting number 3 is our boat name.
Right. Oh, the boat is called Toots.
Tooting, yeah.
Tooting.
Toots for sure.
Did you name it?
No, I don't know who named it.
So, wait, shouldn't the boat owners name the boat?
No,
that's not
we can change the name of it, but I think
I don't know the boating world at all.
I'm getting used to it. I'm getting to know it myself, but I think you don't change the name of the boat.
Because here's a thought, take me into your boat first.
You want me to go back into the boat?
You know what I'm like.
Tangents.
Here's a thought.
No. Okay, so you enter the boat, and then the best bits on the left is the fire.
Right.
And then the fire heats up the whole boat because we've got a back burner. So I don't know whether people know what a back burner is, but it's basically like a piping system.
Okay.
technical term there.
To
a radiator in the bedroom, and it kind of circulates hot.
So it's quite warm on the boat then?
A bit too hot sometimes. Yeah, it's great.
Is when you and Hamish are on there.
Yeah. It's when I put an extra log on and he's gone to bed.
Do you have like electrics and everything?
Yeah, so we have 3 solar panels and 3 leisure batteries. And obviously in the summer we don't really use the leisure batteries.
I was going to say, because leisure batteries last a long time, really, don't
they? They do. And in the winter, I think the general rule of thumb is that you just put your engine on a few times, maybe a month.
Okay.
But I don't know. We haven't tried it out yet. I think Hamish has been running the engine.
And it literally does everything. Like, you can get through a series of Netflix. You can have the kettle on as
so we don't have a kettle in that sense. We boil water on the hob. We have it looks like a kettle though, one of those ones that whistles.
Does it whistle? Oh,
no, it doesn't whistle.
Oh.
It's faulty.
That's a letdown.
I know. It's really annoying.
I really my mum and dad have one, and they have it on the Arga. But when you walk in, it's like so farm-like.
I love that aspect of kind of getting involved with that life a little bit more. But it doesn't bloody whistle. But because I don't want to waste things, that kettle still works fine, so I can't get rid of it.
Of course.
So I've got to keep it.
Have you managed to utilise all of the spaces?
We're getting there, I love doing that sort of stuff.
Have you had to like build in floorboards and...
Right, so we ripped out all the floorboards because they were rotten. So we relaid them down. That was a big job. Had to take out all the kitchen and stuff.
Wow.
And then, so underneath the bed before was just kind of, it was like kind of boxed off. Mm-hmm. So we rebuilt the bed frame. So now we can get 6 boxes underneath the bed.
Wow.
We have more storage now than we did in our 1-bed flat in Derby, which is amazing. So, and then, just clever storage spaces like underneath the sofa. I mean, IKEA has been our best friend for the last few
years.
It's
good, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's some genius little inventions at IKEA.
I don't know. I just ignore if like they're not morally.
They're not morally. Yeah.
I just ignore that.
We're not endorsing IKEA.
Yeah, I just need IKEA in my life at the minute.
Just saying it. There's some of the ideas do work.
Yeah, it's meant to be simple.
Got this little bookshelf, but like it was simple with a little roller on it, and all my books fit in, but don't fall out. It was
brilliant.
12 quid.
Yeah, in it. So
I'm
good.
in.
Yeah, it's so
utilising space wherever now.
Yeah. What else about the boat?
Did
what
you
want to know?
Were you materialistic before boat life? And
no.
Have you ever been materialistic?
Yeah.
Have you?
I still am in some aspects. I think everyone is in some ways, but I'm really trying to
picturing like wardrobes and things like that at the minute.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of clothes, I've kept all my clothes and I've taken them onto the boat, but I didn't have many before. I would still consider myself to have a lot of clothes.
Too many for one person?
Too many for one person, essentially, because you only need 2 pairs of outfits, really. You just swap. Yeah. And that's what happened when I went to India. They lost my luggage, so I was only living in a backpack.
Swapsies.
Had to borrow Hamish's box as well. It's really, it's an awful time.
Tasmanian devil on.
Yeah. But what was great was that I didn't have my backpack full of shit. All I had was just my little bag. And it was amazing. I knew what I was wearing the next day.
Yeah.
I knew what I was wearing the next day after that.
I think this is a really good thing for people who are struggling mentally to consider is enough and learning enough and learning like to get by on the bare necessities on the old arm.
Representing. Yeah.
But that was something I discovered when I was backpacking. I did Australia for a year, but took way too much, like the biggest backpack of you can imagine, picture that in your head, times it by 5 and then by the end of it, literally, like,
you just get rid of all your stuff.
A rucksack on.
Yeah. You end up just boycotting all your stuff.
Yeah.
You just leave
There's
it
no
places.
greater feeling. All the way through, it feels like you're peeling off layers of self. Yeah. And just like, leave that behind. Didn't need that, really. It feels great.
And I think that's probably a good place for people to start is like, what do I actually need in my backpack? And if they have this image of like their backpack, what would they take with them? I like sorting through my clothes and getting rid of clothes and stuff like that. But I have if I have a maybe pile, and with the maybe pile, it kind of sits there in a box for 6 months. And if I come back to that maybe pile and I've not used it, it goes.
That's a great attitude.
Because I don't need it.
Implement that in my life. Yeah.
And so that's really helped me to get rid of a lot of stuff. And also, it's so much easier now when I go to my wardrobe and I know that I've got my outfits. Like, I know that this top will also go with 3 other skirts.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of create loads of, what is it, Trini and Susanna, was it back in the day that used to do this?
Is that a sitcom in it?
No, it's that clothing thing.
I'm thinking of that Patty. Do you know where they're like smoking? Oh, that was a good show, but sorry,
I don't even know what that is, but that sounds great.
There was one where there were 2 women and there were Patty and somebody else. There's going to be a lot of people screaming at me now, but they like just used to like smoke, get drunk and have sex, and that was the show.
Oh,
they were nutters.
Yeah, this is completely different what I'm on about.
When you mentioned it, I thought that's a strange reference.
Trini and Susanna used to help women, get like better at picking clothes that suited their body shapes and their colours.
I've heard, like that. I had do you know Loren from Bambi's Dad?
Love Loren. Yeah, she's wicked.
I've heard that's one of the best ways of getting rid of fast fashion, but actually being conscious of when you're buying clothing and fashion, wearing things that actually suit you and actually work for you.
Yeah, because you feel, I completely agree with that. You feel a lot more comfortable and you don't care if, because I used to have this thing when I was younger where I was just like, I can't go out on a night out because last week I wore that outfit and I can't wear that outfit again. So I've got to go into town and buy a new outfit. What?
Yeah,
that's so stupid.
Yeah.
So like ends up your clothes becoming disposable.
Yeah.
So I used to love though going into town with the girls and picking my outfit for the night, and that would be that. But imagine if you went into town with the girls and you couldn't find your outfit for the night, and then you had to go home and look for your wardrobe again. And yeah, so it was really important to kind of create this wardrobe that was easy to look at and go, oh, I'll wear that today, I'll wear that today, I'll wear that today.
Okay.
But I mean, most days I'm just in joggers because I teach yoga and I'm in pyjamas most days. That's basically what it is.
Is the boat near your dad's where the studio is?
It's in Beeston.
Okay.
Yeah, so about 20 minutes away from the studio.
What's the boating community like? Because say with like the camping community and people all converting campers now.
Yeah.
Everyone feels very protective of, which they should to a degree. They don't want everyone to do it. But then sometimes you feel people are quite snooty and condescending. It's like, we thought of the boat idea first.
Oh, yeah. You get those everywhere.
Do you?
Yeah. But
is it ripe or did you just get a few people?
No, I mean, we've been so welcomed in that community.
Really?
Yeah. It's just such a lovely, lovely place to be. And obviously our neighbours are our mates who sold us the boat.
Oh, man.
So like there's just this
love.
There's just this lovely synchronicities that happened. There's no, I don't know, I don't think I've been in the boating world long enough to kind of know if there's anything like
when we went out in the LDV that's all done up with, my friend did it, but we go on little holidays out and stuff.
Wicked.
And then we've got our own van now to eventually do it, but I keep doing odd jobs at the minute. White van man. But I remember going out and about and feeling like real imposter syndrome emerging because of the conversations I'm having. And people are like, well, yeah, or you get all these new people doing it now and wanting to become. It's like, well, isn't that beautiful?
I think it's great. Like, buy a boat. Do it.
Yeah.
Buy a van because it's such a sustainable way to live. Like the thing. Well, if you're into that sort of stuff, like, you know, you save loads of money on water and. You know, we don't pay bills now. Our bills are making...
You are off grid.
We are off grid, because we don't have an electrical hookup either. So
what are some of the hindrances, though? There's got to be. There's got like little moments where you're like, oh, I miss them days.
Yeah, well, so far we've been really organised. Wait till we forget to get the water or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, for example, at the moment we've got leaks.
Yeah.
And I think that's a common thing with boats.
Is it?
You get leaks and you're just like, why is that water coming in there and where is it coming from?
Often through the windows?
Yeah.
And seals?
Yeah, seals and stuff like that.
Seems to be the case, doesn't it?
You just need to look after the boat and keep on top of it. And just, you know, that you do those jobs in the summer when it's nice outside and stuff like that. carrying stuff down the pontoon is hard work, but I'm going to get strong.
Yeah.
That's my gym. Yeah, carrying coal down the pontoon.
You've decided consciously, which is a great attitude, but anything that could be considered a hindrance, you've turned it into a positive.
Yeah, apart from the fact I get motion sickness.
Oh God, do you actually?
Bloody awful. I'm not so bad now that I've been on it, but I'm noticing it more now because you have a water tank at the front of your boat and it's just started getting lighter and lighter, so the boat is a bit more movie.
Rocky.
Oh my God.
Movie.
And then, yeah, movie, that's my word. And it's the same in anything, right? I get motion sickness in the car, on airplanes, on trains. And yeah, it's now I get land sickness. Actually, even talking about it is making me feel a bit motion
Really?
sickness.
Is this getting you? Oh.
Yeah, I feel like the bus is moving like that. So yeah, now I get land sickness where I've come off the boat because I'm so used to it and I'm walking on the pontoon, which is bouncy.
Okay, yeah.
And then I go on to dry land and I'm like, oh.
Is it the equivalent of like when I've been on a game? Do you know where you've actually got to hold the steering wheel and I'm driving game?
Yeah.
And then when I get in my car, honestly, down the road, I'm like, GTA.
So
I don't get out of it and start battering people with a baseball bat. I swear to God. But...
Yeah, nicking money off prostitutes.
Okay, there was this one time. But it's funny how the mind works and how that reacts to when it's used to rocking or being in balanced situations. Having the opposite, it's not vibing with it.
Yeah, so your body's shaped to the movement you expose it to, right?
It all comes back round.
It all comes back round. A bit like that balance
Now give
thing.
this girl some money.
It's interesting. It's I've not really felt like I needed like a transition period either of like moving onto the boat, because I've just got there and I didn't feel stressed about it because you're just in nature. You just walk outside and you're just in nature and it's just so lovely.
Do you feel a real strong bond with nature now being on the boat? Did you lose touch with that before? Have you always been out and about, walking, experiencing things?
Well, it all started actually when I really met Hamish, and he's always been big into, you know, outdoor stuff and walking, climbing, and I did get into climbing just before I met him. It kind of actually met him through climbing, and yeah, his love for nature and his love for being outside and walking, and just he has this kind of motto where he will say, the area that you live, you just explore from your house. So you just start walking from your house. And a lot of people actually did this in lockdown because they had nothing else to do. And we've been doing that, you know, in San Sebastian when we lived there last year. Okay. We were right, so from this house where we're living, we're going to just walk that way. We'll walk that way. We'll walk a different direction. And you just create a walk and come back. And I just loved that because it doesn't cost money. It's a really beautiful way to see the area that you're living in. Because very often, you know, if you live in Derby, what you'll do is you'll get in your car and you'll go to the Peak District, which is a wicked place to go, obviously. But actually, there's loads of places in and around Derby that have got these little, like, nooks and crannies of nature and just...
It's a common conception people share is like, oh, I'd love to travel but I don't have the money, or I can't get away, or there's just no chance of me doing it. It's like literally what you just described then, because I remember I've been out, I've done South Africa, Australia, Thailand, I've been to them places and I loved it. But then when somebody said to me, are you going to go away again? I just thought, I've not really seen my own back garden, really. I've not been around the UK. And then when I've been home and we did get the van, I've managed to start venturing out. Like, how good is Scotland?
Do you know, I've never really been to Scotland yet. And that's like, since I met Hamish, I was just like, I really want to go to Scotland.
Cornwall, Wales.
I love Cornwall. Like, Wales is great. Lake District.
The most, like, because when I went to New Zealand, I was like, oh, this is so epic. There's nowhere in the world like this. And then I went to like the districts and went to Scotland. I was like, this is just like New Zealand.
Bigger mountains in New Zealand, right?
Not massively. There's some, but like realistically, like in Scotland, like the high ends, no, past Glasgow, we went to the toppest point, which is called... not Land's End, John O'Groats.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to John O'Groats, but driving through there, I remember me and Chrissy were driving at night, and we went through the biggest electrical storm I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We put on Fantasia, and it was literally going.
From the past.
Oh mate, it was going to the music. So it's like, I was going to go. That's not the song. How does Fantasia go?
I can't remember. It's been years, Mikey.
But I remember it so well, and it was like flashing to it. But then we were going like around the biggest. It was so beautiful. Yeah, I remember that well.
Yeah,
and just getting a whole lot of like more respect for just your own backyard, just being here.
And also you just like, I think it like awakens you to just being aware of nature and being respectful of it. You know, when you're walking up a mountain, it may be really hot down on the ground and you may be wearing your shorts and your t-shirts, but make sure you've packed your waterproof and your down jacket and your trousers, because when you're getting up on the top of that mountain, it's got its own bloody weather system up there. And a lot of people, you know, don't know that, and they will just go up a mountain, and that's when they can end up in sticky situations like I don't know, hypothermia, and the mountain rescue team have to come out to that, you know, that person that's fallen on the top of Scarfell Pike and they've only got shorts on. That's you, Mikey. Me, with your flip flops and your shorts on.
I climbed in South Africa on Cape Town, the Table Mountain. Yeah. But me and my partner were always partner at the time. Really wanted to do the most extreme things. Yeah. So we were told, like, no, don't go that way though. Like, just go up where all the people. You'll still get the experience. Just don't be daft. And we're like, come on, let's go. No. And then I began to get really like hairy situations. Yeah. And I think I was going up in blooming, I'll get them off now, sliders, because that's all I wear. But we got about a quarter of the way and we just went, let's go back. This is stupid.
Great. That's you respecting the mountain. Yeah. That's the thing.
100%.
Yeah. Like
we've gone over the top here.
Yeah, I've realised that's a cliff.
Because it is annoying when people like are draining like people's time and resources and money and going and saving them when they've just done everything people told them not to. Yeah.
And it's just I think it's just, it comes down to education and it's really, really good that people go out into the mountains and it's really good that people go on walks and stuff. But if you don't know how to read a map, or if you don't know how to use a compass and you're on the top of a mountain and you're in the bloody fog, you're
quite
stuffed.
Fun though.
There is that adventure side of it. Yeah. I'm also like, oh my God, I have moments of I'm going to die on this mountain and it's all Hamish's fault.
There is something about that though, being in things that are unexplainably big, do you know, like huge, because it makes you just understand and respect how small you are and like not obsolete, but it makes me feel more whole, more connected to it. I don't know what there's going to be a scientific term, isn't there? You're feeling this,
pure bliss.
I remember like the Drakensberg Mountains. It's where South Africa. It was where the first ever cave paintings were discovered.
Oh, wicked!
So it's like the first like part discoveries of like species, I suppose. Really interesting. So we went and did that, but then there's loads of treks and tours you could go on, and me being again 20-year-old I know it all Mikey, I was like, don't give me your maps. I'm going to go travelling. And I was with this girl at the time who was a zoologist and studied monkeys actually when we were there, and was there for studying purposes. Then we went travelling on our own accord. I remember like we were walking on all day. I mean, it must have been a 12-hour trek, definitely lost, but I love.
Were you pretending that you weren't lost?
No, I love being lost. She was like, please come read the map. I'm like, no, we're gonna do this.
The map wouldn't have been any use to you at that point, Mikey.
Then I swear to God this happened. We came across like what would you call like loads of baboons together? Because is it a pack?
Oh, I don't know.
There's a name.
Hamish would know this.
Hamish, what's it called when you see loads of baboons? But we saw a pack of baboons. Definitely not a pack, because that seems like wolves. But they're all going together, and then one. So they're about.
They can be vicious.
50 yards away, and I was bricking my pants, literally.
Did you have a stick?
Nothing. And
God.
But Chris is my proper partner. The partner I was with at the time loved animals loads, and I was like, no, we're not walking closer. Sure. Anyway, as we were walking, one come round the path, and we were honestly like face to face with a baboon, and it just weighed us up, and we sat there, and I was like, this is how we die. This is literally the moment. Two tourists went to South Africa together, travelled off, and then got eaten by a baboon.
Yeah, got rabies and died.
And then and she wanted to like follow it. No. And I was so angry. I was like, no, I'm walking now. But we had to stand in that position for like what felt like an hour.
Yeah.
But we were staring it down. It just like looked around and then ran off.
Yeah.
And I ran off. I was like, we're going.
Yeah. Oh my God. I've had so many nightmares with animals.
Really?
In the countryside. Yeah. And mine's not even baboons.
Just hit me with the best. Hit me
with
them.
Yeah. This one has particularly scarred me, which is why I'm always a bit nervous coming through the farm with all your horses.
Oh, really? A horse moment.
Yeah. A horse moment.
Wild horses.
Yeah. Loads of them. We're in Basque Country, and we decided to walk from our house with our backpacks and went up to the mountains, because the outside of the city is just mountains basically, but we walked to the top of this hill, and there was kind of this really nice beautiful opening of grass, and we're setting up the tent, and there were horses up there. The big kind of, what do you call them, like Shire horses, when they've got the fur on their...
Yeah, I'd say Shire. I think
they're stocky.
A lot of people around here, the gypsy horses.
Yeah, right.
I know what you've...
Yeah, huge.
You're referring to.
Yeah, massive horses. Anyway, we just set up the tent.
I think they're called cobs.
Cobs.
Yeah, cob horse, black and white.
Yeah,
big.
They were huge. All I saw, Mikey, was that they were massive
horses.
Anyway, they come and sniffed us out, and I was on this side. We were on this side of the tent, and then the horses all came down, and they had little ponies. What do you call them? Ponies, aren't they?
Yeah, ponies.
Yeah, that's not the right word for a baby horse.
Not as bad as my pack of baboons.
Yeah. And they all started coming down, and they wear bells on their necks in Basque Country. So you've got like this really intimidating sound of like loads of bells coming towards you.
Mate.
And they're just towering above you. So we just stay one side of the tent and then go the other side. And I said, Hamish, I feel like we're in their territory.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
especially
it'll be fine.
When there's little ones.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine anyway. So we went to bed, and I could just hear these bells all night. And
like tubular bells.
Yeah, I think Hamish managed to get some sort of sleep. We went to bed probably about 8, and then I woke up at 11, and there was a horse sniffing the tent, and it was like, and it was really close. And then suddenly one of its legs, its hooves, like came and kicked the tent.
Oh,
I think it was just trying to feel it.
Yeah.
Right, but when you're lying down on the floor, and then there's this huge horse over you. Anyway, we both just bolted up out of bed and just went, whoa. Anyway, it ran off, and then we could just feel the floor vibrating because of how heavy this horse was.
Wow.
And I was like, abort mission. Like, get out of this tent immediately. And Hamish was like, no, it'll be fine. Just look outside. And luckily, I swear to God, I don't believe in synchronicities all the time, but I swear the rain saved our lives in this moment, because the horse were like neighing, and they were making like really distressed sounds. And I was like, literally, I'm just going to die in this bloody tent on a hill. And yeah, we just poked our heads out, and the rain started coming down, and it really, really pissed it down. And all the horses just put their heads down and kind of like became like really calm.
This is like a dream.
Yeah, and I was like, and then what happened was, when we put our head out the tent, we also saw that there was a thunderstorm, and we were on the top of a hill in a metal tent, like a metal pole tent.
Yeah, I get
not a whole metal tent. And then we were like, well, good job we looked outside anyway. So it gave us that opportunity and that time to pack away everything. And we were trying to find another camp spot, but I was so freaked out, and I was just like, Hamish, we were just walking all the way back to San Sebastian, and we got home at like 4:00 in the morning, full of adrenaline.
Really? Yeah. I must say, I kind of miss that, and touch wood, because I bet this happens now, but do you know them moments where you nearly succumb to death? You're just like, this is how I go then.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether that was a near-death experience, but it was an experience I don't want to relive.
Well, I suppose I could name... I won't do, but at least 50 where I've been there and just been like, this is probably it. This is the one. Yeah, I don't think that's a hypochondriac moment, but it's like just out there. The reason it's like adrenaline junkies, though, isn't it? You're just in a situation where you're like, anything can happen.
Yeah,
I miss that, literally.
Yeah, you're saying that now, though. I had that the other day. I was I was just driving, and a car just started coming into my oncoming traffic
in your lane.
It just started swerving into me, and I was like, just, everything happens in a split second. And they just noticed at the last minute.
Wow.
I was like, were you on your phone? Yeah. Oh, I was like, I got home and I just cried. I just cried because I was just like, that was one of the closest experience I really don't like being in cars anyway. I think they're really dangerous. I'm a big believer in driverless cars. Like, I need that in my life because I just don't trust humans behind the wheel.
Driverless cars.
Driverless cars,
like the
Musk
Google style stuff.
The Google car was a driverless car.
Okay, cool.
And that's the one that took all the pictures all over the world.
Yeah.
And then it only got into 2 accidents, and both their accidents were human error. Not the robot. People don't like it.
The only way of us actually getting to that point ever would be everyone has to comply that we're going.
Yeah. You can't have tit and tat. You need everyone. I'm happy with that. Take people away from the cars.
I'd love to sit back and just go like, take me.
I mean, I do like driving, and I know a lot of people do as well. But I think so. I mean, in England we have it good. Really, the roads are really safe.
I had a terrible crash.
Oh, did you?
Oh, mate. Yeah, it's funny. I was going to what was going to be for me a really big gig because there's a guy I love called Polar Bear, and he's this artist, and I was going to support him in Birmingham, and I was so excited all day. So I was driving there, but I was a bit late. I wasn't rushing, I swear to God. Listen, quote me, I was not rushing, but. I don't know what happened that day, but something was going weird with the music I was listening to.
Right.
And I felt a vibe.
Right.
Do you know when you just know intuition? Something's off. So anyway, I looked down. I thought, right, and just press the music, touched that, looked up, and then the car in front of me, we're all going normally, and it just stopped.
Right.
But then I went that way, drove the other way, and the other way, and then I flipped. And
you flipped your car?
The car went upside. This is on the motorway at 5 o'clock in rush hour. So I'm on the motorway, driving in the furthest hand lane.
Yeah.
Ended up in the first hand lane where all the lorries are going in.
God.
And then, the car, it was a Toyota Yaris. It span on its head, and I was in the driver's seat facing all the traffic coming at me.
Oh no, it's like Final Destination.
Honestly, and I remember a car was coming straight at me. It was probably, again, like 20 metres away, maybe like 15, and it was just heading on. And I crunched up to die.
Yeah.
And I remember going like that, and the air, so it missed me, but the air, the force just span the car around.
Whoa.
And I was just like that. And I remember then it all went still.
Right, yeah.
And I stayed up and I was like, I think I might have died. I really, I in my head, I'd thought I've gone.
Yeah.
So I looked out, and then I could crawl out because the windows were all smashed.
Yeah.
I crawled out, and then there was 4 blokes all stood round, and I thought I'd gone to heaven. I was like, this is it. I've gone to heaven.
Who were them blokes then?
So they'd all stopped because they'd seen the collision and what had happened. Not a collision, but the crash. And then they were like, you might go into shock. I was like, I will in a minute.
Yeah.
But that was terrifying. And it took me maybe a month to get out of that. Because for a long time, genuinely, I thought I died after it.
Oh, God.
I was in, I don't know, I suppose there's a mental illness attached to this.
Is that post-traumatic stress?
Yeah, it was like a form of PTSD.
Yeah.
But I couldn't actually believe that I physically got out of that. So I was for so long every day
lucky.
Touching was that gone at that point? Have I just lived into a dream state since?
Yeah.
That's mental illness. That's not a healthy way of seeing things. I've discovered in the long run.
Yeah,
but that was big.
That sounds
really weird.
Huge. I mean, mine sounds pathetic compared to that.
So sorry to try and steal
I went home and cried, and you just got out of your car and stood up.
Well, I cried a long time after that when it actually hit me, but I was just so dazed. I couldn't actually believe it.
Yeah, like what you'd like disconnected yourself.
I was sat with the ambulance, they were talking to me, and I was just nodding like, yeah, I'm fine.
Were you fine? Did you come out with any injuries?
Literally like a scratch on my knee. Because when I crawled out of the car, there was glass on the floor, so I knelt into it.
Glass, yeah.
But I remember went back in, I made sure I got my iPad out, my iPod and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Your priorities, your material things. Oh, yeah. Need those.
It wasn't material because it got my good music on it. It was the wholesome thing. Yeah. I built a good playlist on that, and that can't go. But yeah, I think it's very grounding what you find out after that. There's a poem in my book called Breathe,
right,
and I learned about just the importance of breathing, being present, being in the moment, because being out of the moment for a bit, like feeling a bit off, flicking a song and not being present, put me in that situation. And I just got so respectful for all the little things in life after that. It was really tasting something, truly tasting something, or really listening to music in a different way. It really did enhance and enlighten my senses.
Yeah, that's great.
I just wish people didn't have to go through that to get there.
Yeah, isn't it funny that we have to kind of see the worst of something or experience something that's really bad to actually go, okay, I'm going to live this way now.
It's a good quote actually, that. Why do we have to go there?
Yeah.
So let me take you just to, where is the Movement Collective?
Oh, we're going back there, are we? Bloody hell, we went on the tangent, didn't we?
Sorry. I think we can go all over
this. We can go all over. It's your podcast. You can do what you want.
I just wondered, like, because we've been touched on, like, the mental health side of things, the importance of moving, everything. Have you got a look of where you want to take things and where you want to go with what you're doing?
Yeah.
Have you? Are you allowed to dispel this?
Yeah, it's my baby.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, so far, the only thing I've thought about is I want to get us to festivals.
Really?
Yeah, I want to get us to festivals.
Okay.
I would love, I've seen, like yoga tents and stuff like that. But I really want to kind of, just get some festival work in a couple. I don't think it'll happen next year now, but maybe the year after. It'd be good to kind of have a tent and take the girls.
Put the seeds into action, can't you?
Yeah, take the girls and guys who are now part of the collective.
Okay, I didn't know you had guys.
Yeah, there's two more. We kind of went on a tangent.
Breezed past the guys.
Yeah. There's also Rebecca and Phil. They're also part of it as well. Rebecca's a somatic movement practitioner, so she is all about teaching people to embody movement and feel it as opposed to how it looks, which I love that. And Phil is like a barefoot runner, so he's like he does like workshop style classes.
He's speaking my language.
So he's got a really
sliders or barefoot.
So he's got really intricate knowledge about the feet, the knees and the hips in particular.
Got the whole body sorted, haven't you?
Yeah, hopefully. Like that's the team now for a bit. And it'd be really cool to kind of take it to festivals in a couple of years. And we want to do workshops on the platform. I'm not really sure how to do that yet.
Okay.
And we would like to also do some in-person stuff. But again, not really sure. I'm just kind of going with it at the minute. Don't really know what I'm doing, Mikey.
I love that way. It feels in flow though. It feels like if it's too set, by this point we're going to be here, then we're going to take over this and we're going to be here.
Yeah.
It would feel that pyramid scheme thing for me.
Yeah, we're really driven by what I don't like using the word clients because they're just people. They're just lovely people that like want.
But who you're engaging with or connecting with.
Yeah. So that kind of community of people. It will just flow with what they want as well. And so we. Oh God, I sound like one of those companies where we really value your feedback, but we really do, because I'm just doing this like by myself, and I've got the team of the Movement Collective, and they're wicked because they always like drop in, suggestions and ideas, and it's like, oh, actually, have you thought about this? And it's like, oh no, actually, I haven't. Thank you very much for reminding me of that. Yeah, but I'm all about like, you're not copying people's ideas. Like there's so much that we learn from other people now that your ideas aren't bloody original. And if you think that, then you've got a huge ego, because your ideas did come from all different,
culminate from other ideas.
And that's amazing because that's like you taking something and making it your own. But yeah, I think that, yeah, all of that sort of stuff has just kind of been, that energy is going into the Movement Collective now.
I was just laughing at that. I was like,
What's
this truly is the Old Farm Bus podcast.
Oh yeah,
we've got a tractor in the background, guys. I'm sorry if that drowned out any of the sound. Not had a tractor on there yet. No, just for your podcast. I told him to come down.
Come down and make some noise.
She'll love that.
Yeah. Wicked. Is it distracting you?
No, it did for a minute. I didn't expect it. I was like, I thought a plane was coming in.
Yeah, no, I was like, there's a noise which could be dangerous, but I'm just going to ignore it because we're recording.
I noticed. Embrace the noises. But I love it with festivals though, because that's what we want to do essentially.
Oh, wicked!
Take like the buses in to do music and have a little Old Farm section. So
that'd be amazing.
Maybe we could collaborate that.
Yeah.
What I'd love to do is do some of your classes.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to come and be involved in the online things.
Yeah, wicked.
And then I think we should do a podcast on my experience of it and like what I
like a run up, like a follow up. Sorry.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I'd like. Would you ever do like could call it a podcast, but just something where you explain what you do?
Yeah.
To people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think if people understood, I think there's a lot of ideas, pre-consistent ideas that people have towards yoga, and it does have that hippie connotation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Negative thoughts that I think a lot of young people, but particularly males, to channel and work out who they are and how they move, wouldn't go to it. But if they understood what it could do for them, it'd be a brilliant thing.
Absolutely, yeah. And that is kind of one of our aims as well, to get men involved in the platform. And we do have a couple of guys on there, and I think it also helps having a teacher who's a man.
Yeah,
because it's like this, if he does it, then I can do it. And also it's kind of got that running side of things which will attract people in. And yeah, I think it's so important, like, for men to be able to connect in that way to exercise that isn't just lifting
weight, certain movements. Because you can't believe how weak men are in certain other movements. Yeah. Like when you're doing, what's that training where you move fast?
HIIT. High intensity.
There's HIIT training. There's a CrossFit that everyone. But me and my friend, who is really strong, is 6'4", like ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
He started trying to do some of those movements. He couldn't possibly do it, and his joints just weren't built for it.
Yeah. What's interesting about those sort of forms of exercise is that, I don't know, like, the science behind it is that it's not necessarily great for the body doing that high intensity level of exercise. Like, I don't know whether it gives you quick results. Maybe that's why people enjoy doing it, because people like to see results in what they do, and it's really encouraging. So I completely get that. It's just that most people who go and do that sort of exercise have never done it before, or they're in a position where their body hasn't been exposed to that sort of movement. Yeah. So they start doing like loads of push-ups or burpees or, all that sort of stuff.
Really terrible technique.
Yeah.
Really heavy on the joints.
Yeah, and you basically, your tissues aren't developed to kind of take that impact or load. And so then you start seeing things like repetitive strain injuries. Yeah. And it's the same in the yoga world, right? Like, you see loads of people who have got weak wrists, lower back pain, weak wrist being one in particular that I see. And I even had a repetitive strain injury there as well. And so I'm all about, like, let's get out of those movement habits. You don't need to keep doing those chaturangas. I don't know whether you know what they are.
I'm gonna learn.
Yeah, so a chaturanga or like a vinyasa is where it's kind of a link of 3 movements. So you're in a plank position, and then you bend the elbows to lower yourself down. Right. And then you push the hands into the floor and start to open your chest for a cobra. Yeah. And then you tuck your toes and you send your hips back into a downward facing dog. That upside down V shape.
It's always animals. Why is it always animals?
Oh, good question. I don't know. I've never questioned that one. I'll look it up though.
Thank you.
Yeah. And those movements, those 3 movements, you can see have caused a lot of repetitive strain injuries in people, because Vinyasa yoga is super popular. It's getting closer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's coming in.
Is he spreading muck?
I think so.
I can smell it.
Jane Harrowing, yeah.
Can smell that shit. Oh, I stopped now. Great. You can see those repetitive strain injuries, and a lot of people don't really know why why it's happening, and it's really, really simple. It's a simple thing. It's just that you're doing it too much, and you're doing it too frequently, and you're not training your body to be exposed to that movement. And so they either have to stop doing that practice, which is a real shame, and then start strengthening that area.
Okay.
But Vinyasa yoga is something that the West has definitely developed.
Right.
It's kind of what I refer to as fitness yoga.
So, like, these terms, and like, if I was going into yoga, would this be something that I'd discover on the way?
You discover it on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Part of the journey.
Part of the journey.
So if I was starting up, it'll be quite simple terminology that I'd get on with and understand.
Yeah, I think so.
And like, I've heard of downward dog.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? The cat.
Cat-cow.
Cat-cow, yeah. But then later on, then when I'm going into it, do I discover what I'm more about on the journey?
Yeah, and you'll pick your style.
Oh.
Me, I like loads of different styles, and that's because I want to create a versatile movement practice.
Yeah.
And I'm not really into the gym, right? I don't want to go and lift weights. I know I should, but I don't really want to. And that's something I'm working on in my own time. But yeah, I like doing loads of different styles. I'm not saying Vinyasa yoga is bad. It's just bad if you just do that always, and that's the only thing you do, because you will start to see ailments in the body. Maybe not after a year, but after 2 years, maybe, 10 years, you never know. It just depends on your body. So
well, only because I'm getting to the point where I'm like, right, I've got a pregnant lady in the house.
You have got a pregnant lady in the house.
And I'm supposed to be doing the observations, like a little chimp in a cage.
Yeah.
But I just wanted you to tell people, if they wanted to get into it, how they could, where they can find you and the Movement Collective. And just some ideas towards that.
Yeah, so I mean, the basics to start with yoga, I would always just recommend Hatha, which is kind of the original yoga, if you like. And it's just a really gentle style. It's strong, but it's gentle and slow, and it's just you move from one posture and then you change into a different posture. That's a great place to start.
And then I'm going to give it a go. And even like 5 minutes of this.
5 minutes, it doesn't matter. What we do on the Movement Collective is we do like specific classes, like one's called an energizing movement class, which is just a mobility class. So you don't do any stretching and you don't do any strength work. You're just working with your joints, and you get in that joint health into play. And so I'm a big believer in that. Like, you can't just do your lifting weights and getting strong, and you can't just do your flexibility stuff. You need to combine strength, flexibility and mobility. Everything. And if you want to be a healthy mover, then definitely that. So Hatha is where I'd start if you didn't know anything about yoga. But the problem now in the West is that it's hard to find a Hatha yoga
start
class.
with one problem. There's a few.
there's a few. So I mean, just come to the Movement Collective.
That was what I was going to say. Like, realistically, the real answer is the Movement Collective.
So we are. I mean, if you're wanting in-person classes, we don't offer that. We offer only online, but we do have that in-person kind of thing where you're live, so you can come to that live class and experience. And
do you do sort of consultations, like if I said to you what I want to actually achieve out of it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not something like a specific thing that we offer, but it's a platform where you can talk to us, and you can message us directly, and you can just request whatever you want.
Fantastic.
Within reason, obviously. Whatever I can afford to pay the teachers, we can do, basically.
Excellent.
And we're using, I don't know whether you've heard of it, we're using a website called Patreon.
Yeah,
so
excellent.
That's our platform at the minute, because we can't afford to build a website, because to build a website, it's basically like it's a huge cost.
Patreon it's basically like OnlyFans, isn't it? Not because
so
OnlyFans is anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could put anything on there.
So you're a creator on there. So like the Movement Collective, that's like, I'm the creator of the Movement Collective, and that's the platform. And then people pay as they become patrons.
Fantastic,
and they pay a monthly membership. And then on there, it's kind of like a Facebook news feed where I'll post on Monday at 8 a.m. all of the links for the week, all of the live classes. And then you can join in, or you don't even have to at all.
That's so cool.
You can catch up recorded. And so I think next month we'll have 11 or 12 classes every week on the platform. So there's lots of choice. And currently we work Monday to Thursday because I like everyone to have the weekends off. I like a weekend off.
Such a great boss.
They're getting Christmas off as well.
Oh, my life.
Which doesn't happen, right? Because like a lot of yoga studios open over the weekend, and that was about setting boundaries in for myself, because I was getting to the point where I was just accepting all yoga work, and actually like I didn't have a day off for about a year, and I was like, no, I need a Sunday.
It's hard when you're starting up a business though, isn't it? You have to, you think you have to be there all the time.
Yeah.
You have to answer every response.
Yeah,
you
that instant reply society.
It's good to be moving.
Yeah.
But like what you said then's beautiful. Like to have boundaries, to know what you're willing to give.
Yeah.
And knowing you need to have your relaxing time, your time away from business.
Yeah. I need to recharge though. Yeah, I need to recharge because if I don't, then you can probably see it. I mean, I see it for myself on the Movement Collective when my content isn't as good, or I'm not really engaged with it as much that week. It's because I haven't had that downtime. I haven't been able to kind of re-energize and get that inspiration again on what we're going to do next week.
It happens a lot in poetry. Like when you've just labelled yourself as a poet and you feel like you have to be writing all the time, you run out of stuff to write about, and you stop living life because all you're doing is writing. But when you go outside of that and you go back to living again and having experiences and meeting friends and going on adventures, it all comes back round to being able to have something to write about again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel that in my teachings as well, is that I get stagnant sometimes. And I'm sometimes sick to death of hearing the same things that I'm saying. I know as well, like people do love repetition because they want to see if they're improving in things as well. So I have to say that to myself, like repeating things isn't a bad thing.
No.
Because people will learn something each time. And that was the importance of also getting other teachers on the platform, because what they're saying might be a little bit of a different cue in the way that I'm saying it, and that might resonate with people in a different way.
That's cool.
And that's so important. But yeah, it's I
really love what you're about, and I love what you're bringing together. I think it is going to bring a new what we were talking about earlier, something new. And that is what the world's aching for, really. There's been this ways of doing it, but mindsets need to change. And having good people coming together, building communities, building places where people feel safe and can go and learn something. It's a great thing. So more people like you and more community fields.
Right back at you there, Mikey.
Thank you so much. That's what we're trying to do, baby, in our own little ways.
Absolutely.
Keep moving.
Keep moving.
Amazing. So the full what's it called?
The Movement Collective.
There's another.
You've done so well all the way
collective. Through. What's the Full Life Collective is another one.
Right.
You're the Movement.
The Movement Collective. You can find us on Instagram. I'm going to do that.
4 times in a row.
Well done. You can find us on Instagram at the Movement Collective _
Right.
And then on Facebook as the Movement Collective 1.
Okay.
I think. And then it's patreon.com / the Movement Collective. There you go. There's
guys, I've seen my cat out me little blindsider over here. He wants his dinner. I need to look after Chrissy and make sure she's doing all right. She's got a baby cooking and I don't know what's happening in there. Anything. This is the due date today.
Yeah.
Naughty Mikey.
Very excited for you.
You've been a part of the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. What a beautiful guest. Thank you so much for being here, Michelle. You're
Thanks
lovely.
For having me.
Your smile is, like I said before, electric.
I hurt. I think my cheeks hurt.
Light the fire, baby. Guys, remember what I say. Be nice to one another. Peace and love.